Let's get rid of that. No, it's okay. It's
Oh
okay
no.
because I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Right. It is now only recording. I nearly had a massive screw up then, but it is only recording me.
Good. 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 We don't want a repeat of that.
We don't want to repeat.
I think it's time to move on, and before things get any more inappropriate and HR has to get involved, let's start the meeting, shall we? So, hi Chris, how are things with you?
Good. Good. I've been feeling subpar, but I feel like I'm up to par now. I'm good now. How are you?
You're
Oh, I
doing.
nearly
I'm
forgot.
good, thank
Nearly
you.
forgot. I do apologise.
I saw what you were doing there. Didn't you? Right, let's move swiftly on to review the agenda. We've covered greetings, and we're reviewing the agenda right now. And professional banter is up next with a bit of Taylor talk is a new agenda item to cover.
Good.
And what are you doing? And then number 5, what am I doing? And any other business at the end. Realising how much I'm saying right now. God, this is a disaster.
What are you actually doing?
I'm literally just trying to find a timer and then put it side by side so I can look at my agenda with a timer. Let's go. Back on track with the agenda after a brief detour. So agenda item number 3, professional banter.
So after.
Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
So after work today, a video was recommended to me on YouTube, which was the latest Binging with Babish video.
Oh yeah.
Where he makes the bachelor chow.
Is it binging or binging? Sorry.
Oh, probably binging with badges. That makes more sense.
I always read it as binging, but I
thought...
think it's meant to be binging. But to me, it's not spelt as binging.
No. Whatever it
It's
is,
an E.
whatever it is,
Okay.
it's the bachelor chow from Futurama, like the
Ooh.
dog food style human food. And I was so intrigued. I was like, how is this going to work? And he makes beef bourguignon and makes a proper, really nice looking beef bourguignon. Then takes out the meat, cuts it into cubes, and freeze dries it. And he freeze dries the like the sauce that comes with it, strains it, freeze dries that to make it into a powder, so it literally looks like dog food. And then when you add hot, like boiling water to it, it becomes beef bourguignon. It looks amazing. It looks so nice. I would happily eat that from a big dog food size bag for every meal. It looked really good. I was so impressed that it actually looked like dog food.
Oh my word. Oh dear. That's interesting.
I was surprised. I wasn't sure how he was going to do it, but it genuinely looked really, really tasty. So now I just need to buy myself the equipment to freeze dry food.
I've not really got any other professional bands. Oh, I watched WandaVision up to episode 3.
What did you think? I really like it.
I'm enjoying it.
I'm loving it.
I'm enjoying it. I actually really like the fact that it's really minor and slow, like drip feeding. That there's other stuff going on. Like this is set in the actual universe, and there's something else going on. But I feel like so many other films or TV shows doing something like this. It might last at best for one episode, but probably halfway through the first episode they would cut away to some other character who's back where you expect them to be, watching what's happening on a camera or monitoring it somewhere else. So I'm really pleased that they're actually just I'm quite enjoying it.
Because especially in the first couple of episodes, the hints and the things that they drop in to imply that everything is not, you already know everything's not normal, but the things that they drop in to imply everything's normal are really small and subtle, just enough to make you go, what's going on? I love it. I love how weird it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Unfortunately, we might be running out of time for Taylor Talk unless you've got anything particularly important to cover.
Well, under Taylor Talk?
Yeah.
I don't think I do, actually. Another song dropped into my mind that I really enjoy, which is, I think it's either just called December or Back to December. And I can't remember now.
Okay.
But I've been enjoying that recently as well. That's the only thing I have.
Yeah. I suddenly was thinking that when I added it to the agenda. I was like, crap, I don't actually have anything particularly to add to Taylor Talk.
Maybe this is a Taylor Talk lesson. When we try and force Taylor Talk, it's not happening.
Maybe that's just it. Well, I was going to say actually what I can add is I rewatched the Taylor Biscuit video again at lunch with the it's more important to be edgy and sexy and cool than anything else. I just love it. I don't know why. It's just so like with the cut together clips. It's just it's so catchy, but like, and it nails that like Limp Bizkit sounding song as well. Oh dear. Yeah. What was it? Society is sick. We're all sick. So I made this sick beat. Or wrote this sick beat. Anyway, okay. I think that's enough. Taylor Talk.
Are we done with our Taylor Talk?
So that brings us swiftly on to, what are you doing, Chris?
Well, it's been a shorter and slightly disrupted week, so I haven't done a huge amount. I edited the last week's video, or half edited. I've still got a bit to finish, and instead of using OpenShot, which I normally use, I used Shotcut. I think I'm going to use OpenShot going forward. There were some things that Shotcut had which were really, really helpful. Being able to click and drag to position the sides of the video to move it around and put it into place, really, really good.
Okay.
OpenShot doesn't have that. You have to put in like figures for the scale and for the position.
I mean, I didn't do the click and dragging. I just used the numbers. The numbers. Shotcut because I wanted it perfect.
I clicked and dragged. I clicked and dragged to get it into position so that I could know what the numbers were, and then I adjusted the numbers to make sure that they matched, and it was.
I mean,
right.
It's, if you're doing a 1980 by 1020 or 1080, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You should know what it is.
But it either way, I liked the fact you could click and do that. I liked the fact that you could do ripple delete, so that you could remove something and it shuffled everything down.
I've not actually been trying that. I really should, because that probably would have come in very handy.
It's really good, especially if there's something that you're having. If you've done like lots of cuts and then you're having to go back to something else, and you need to take something else, so you've got lots of clips to shuffle down. It's really, really helpful.
Were you using multiple tracks, or doing it just in one track per person?
I was
curious if ripple delete works in multiple tracks or not.
No, so ripple delete works on the track that you are working on.
Yeah. Okay, so I was using that.
Yeah. But anyway, that was very helpful. But I don't know whether it could be that Shotcut as a piece of software is bigger or more complex than OpenShot. But every little cut and every move, everything took a lot longer to load. Whereas OpenShot was a lot quicker. So the the benefits I got from it were outdone by the fact that every time I clicked to trim, I had to wait a few seconds. And
Well, I'll give OpenShot a go then.
it's definitely. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I tried it. But yeah, they're both very clearly very good open source editing software. And if my laptop was better, Shotcut may have been more responsive. So that could be why I didn't enjoy it as much. But
I don't particularly recall responsiveness issues during the editing, like the editing the timeline. How did you find the playback when you were playing back the previews on Shotcut compared to OpenShot?
OpenShot is a lot smooth. I found to be a lot smoother. At the start of every clip on Shotcut, there was like a pause. It didn't smoothly play through it. Whereas sometimes for the first few in OpenShot, it will be a bit jumpy, but it will smooth out. And I didn't find Shotcut did that.
And I actually got to the point in Shotcut because what I ended up doing was splitting each agenda item. Essentially, I had 2 tracks per person, and then I could visualize each agenda item. So I would put it into a different track.
Yeah.
And then I had obviously the text stuff and whatnot. And I found it got to the point where I was turning off the videos in the preview so I could just listen to the audio for it to run smoothly for then the actual editing. Because obviously we don't really care about the video as much on this. It's not as much important. You're editing based on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'll give OpenShot a go and see if that's better.
Yeah,
it's a complaint about Shotcut that I've seen before is the preview playbacks. It doesn't do anything to scale the video down, or it just tries to play it back at the full resolution every time you preview it, which is a bit crap. There's no auto reduction.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see what you think. So, so that's So I used Shotcut for that. What I'm probably going to do is the point that I've got to with the video, I might end up exporting and then dumping that larger video into OpenShot to finish the edit, just so that it's easier to do, which should be fine. Other than that, I've made one other video this week, which was very slightly spontaneous and off the cuff, and that is available on Link. Trying to decide whether I want to go into much detail about why I've made that video. I'll do minor amount of detail because it's a subject topic that we said we weren't going to go into. It was unexpectedly having a fever, getting COVID tested, and then waiting for the results, which were the process of going from told I need a test to booking a test to having the test to getting the results was exceptionally quick, so I can only praise everyone involved in that process. But it's very odd how suddenly, even though it's pretty cold outside and I have no intention to go outside, as soon as I'm told I can't, I want to. So doing a video of the stuff that I used that I sort of killed my time with was a good distraction for less than 24 hours. So
I mean, it's the waiting. I imagine that kind of thing. Just the waiting can be pretty torturous, can't it? When you're waiting for news like that.
Yeah, and it was made very clear to me that I had to go and get the test, but the chances of it coming back positive were very slim. Didn't think it was that, but it's sort of you tick one of 3 boxes, you go get a test. That's what the rules are. So wasn't concerned, but I thought, well, let's make a video out of it. And I think it's quite a mundane video, and I quite like that because it was a very mundane 24 hours. So other than that, that is my stuff for the week. That's all I have done.
Well, that's pretty well timed. We'll move on to what I'm doing, shall I?
Move on.
So I mostly spent my weekend upgrading my 3D printer. Pachow.
Ba-boom.
I'll insert some footage and pictures here.
Oh, have you got
Not as
footage and
appropriate.
pictures?
Little bits.
Ooh, okay, lovely.
So there were two upgrades, and I almost want to say like in a manner I'm almost disappointed in myself that I don't just do it all and figure it out myself, but also I'm not super familiar with this stuff, but it could have been a good learning. Anyway, I bought some kits to upgrade it.
Okay.
So I've got a Creality Ender 3, which is a cheap printer, pretty good capability for its price, but lacks some features and has some things that aren't so good. First one of those is it's a I say it's like a semi-cantilever X-axis on the print head, where it's supported by rails on either side.
Yep.
But only has a lead screw on this side as standard, and that means if you have any slack in you have a cam you can adjust the tension on the pulleys, the wheels, the rollers, I should say, get the right word. And that means if there's any slack, this side can droop a little bit.
Right.
It's that way. And that what that means is when you've starting a print, it will all be settled at its home position, and then the first up to like 3 or 4 layers, the side with the lead screw will be lifting, but then on this side it will just be picking up the slack until it actually starts to lift this.
Okay.
And I struggled because I was able to manually level the print bed, and I was able to dial it in really good first print quality, first layer, where it's a really nice layer. And then it would get to the second layer, and it was as if it was over extruding or not lifting enough, because it wasn't lifting the full layer amount. And I got to the point where I was, and even this was even after adjusting it, was using the manual control to lift the Z-axis, and you could see it, and you'd go up like 1/10 of a millimeter, and you'd see the lead screw move, and the other side would just stay stationary. So the first upgrade is I now have, and this is from an Ender 10, the kit, so it's a bit long, so you can see it. I don't know, you might be able to see it on the top, but I've got a second Z-axis motor hiding behind the back now.
Okay.
With a second lead screw, so it moves both sides at once, so goes up nice and vertically.
Okay.
What I haven't done is gone to town, and arguably I could have pulled the whole thing apart and rebuilt it and made sure everything's perfectly square. And it was like I just kind of eyeballed it, forgetting because obviously you want to make sure your motors are aligned so it's level, so that when it moves up and down it's level.
Yeah.
I've eyeballed that, but I haven't gone to the nth degree on that yet. And then the other one that I did, which was an official Ender 3 or Creality kit, is auto leveling.
Okay.
So that's where the videos will be good. I now have, well, it's hiding, you can't see it, but I've got what's called a BL Touch, which is a little sensor that pops out, and it comes down and probes the surface in a grid pattern. Default is a grid of 9 points.
Okay.
And then it saves those, and it basically uses that to map the angle of the print bed. And then when it prints, it uses that to compensate, so that the printer is meant to be then level with that print bed.
I'm imagining you dressed like Rick from Rick and Morty, creating the perfect level platform.
Oh yeah. True level.
Yeah.
True level. Yeah. What I've avoided doing is touching the true level print bed, lest I experience brief ecstasy and then horrific withdrawal symptoms. Yeah. No. So it's that official kit was a bit frustrating because it was pretty much plug and play. Like, and I got that you have to update the firmware on the control boards. That worked out pretty smoothly. It was a bit frustrating because it was just like, go to the Creality downloads page, and you got to figure out which one is the right one without any guidance from the actual manufacturer. And then I'm not 100% sure it's working properly. So it does the probing command and does the probing, but I'm not sure it's applying to the bed properly because I did a bed level check and it comes out pretty good, but like opposite corners. So what I did as well is I built it, did a manual level to get it close. But that what it means now is I can just probe it every now and again, and I can just leave the bed wherever it is. But I did a manual level, so it should have been pretty damn good to start with. So it doesn't have to do much compensating. And I have a glass print bed which should be super flat as well. And I had some variation in the bed level check print, which I was a little bit disappointed. The middle was like bang on, and then it had two opposite corners where one was just a little bit under extruded, so the bed was a bit too low because it adhered nicely, but the print lines hadn't conjoined properly.
Right.
So when you peeled it off, you had individual strands, and then the other side was like, very thin, like going translucent. So unfortunately, I think to go much further than this and be able to customize the type of bed leveling, because there's multiple bed leveling options, I'm just going to have to flash it with the generic firmware that the Creality, the manufacturer, provided. But the trouble is, the one I've got is just like, here's one that will work. You can't customize it because you have the hex file, you have the completed file, whereas there's no file that lets you go in and change anything and then whatever, I can't remember the software terms, but so I'm very close to diving down that rabbit hole of like, let's get the open source firmware and do it all myself. And I'm just like, I bought this, I wanted it to be plug and play, and that's the point. And I'm like, I'm already like trying to chase the dragon of perfection. So that covers what I'm doing.
Okay.
So let's move on to our sixth and final agenda item of any other business. And I believe you had some items to cover.
I had one thing to cover, which was last week we discussed the fine detail and definition of over-engineering things.
Yes.
So
yes. And okay, yep. Go.
After reviewing the footage, I came to the conclusion, and idle googling, that we are both right, because definitions of over-engineering imply that it is the act of designing a product to be more robust or have more features than often necessary for its intent, or for a process to be unnecessarily complex or ineffective. So you were indeed right that having something that is incredibly robust doesn't make it bad. It's if it's very robust. But I think I'm also right that it is possible to make something like a spreadsheet that is possibly overly complicated for its purpose. So I think we were both right under that discussion. So that was my any other business point, was I think that we were both right under that, but in different ways. So
just out of curiosity, which definition? Where is that definition from?
So interestingly, one of the questions people ask, this may be a really boring topic, but I find it quite interesting. One of the top questions people ask is over engineering bad? And the answer is that it can be desirable when safety or performance is critical.
That's what I mean. I think we should just move on at this point.
We can move on. We can move on.
As the chair of this meeting,
I was reviewing the footage and I thought I've got to look up the definition.
No,
and
it's
then have a
funny.
look.
It's funny.
Right. Sorry.
I'm clearly just overly sensitive to the phrase overly engineered. But let's move on.
Did you have anything else for any other business?
The only other thing I had is exercise targets, but I don't know if that's really interesting enough to have a weekly update for people, and it's not even been a week.
My weekly update is I've done nothing. I've done literally. I had 9 days of rest in the bank, and I've used them all up, and now I'm 2 days behind. Exercise targets would have been the only other topic I would have. Do you have do you want to give me a number to add to the spreadsheet?
I can, but I realise I didn't actually sit down and add up the numbers, so I'd have to go and get them out of Strava.
We'll carry it over. We'll carry it over.
Oh, we did have a very important any other business thing that you contacted me about earlier in the week. Can't believe we forgot it. Oxymoron.
Oxymoron. That was the word you were looking for.
Yes.
Yeah. I think again, while I was reviewing the footage, I sat there and just casually clicking away, and I just went, oxymoron.
Yeah, and you know what? Really made me feel like a moron.
And again, I think I know that word a bit like you were saying. You could remember the QI episode where they said it, and I was thinking back, and I was thinking, I can hear Stephen Fry saying the word oxymoron, and I think that's why I know what that word is as well.
I'm pretty sure I can remember like someone saying something the big boop, mop, mop, mop. Nope, that's the trick answer. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna resist the temptation to put QI oxymoron into YouTube right now.
Yes, resist. You're in a meeting. Professional, please.
All right. Who's chairing this meeting?
Sorry.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. I'm going off the rails.
Mr. I need to wander off to go to the loo last week.
Yeah.
Right, well, unfortunately, to end the meeting on a bit of a somber note, then I think that's everything for today. So thanks everyone. We'll catch up next week.
There was one more thing. You still haven't returned me that stamped bit of paper for the like and subscribe memo.
Oh, God.
You still haven't sent it back, so I can't do anything with it without the stamp.
Are you sure you returned it?
100%
in the system after, because I was looking.
100%. I didn't return it. It's in my desk drawer.
It's in the desk drawer.
I will return that.
You didn't even scan it after signing it.
I've signed it and I've put my stamp, but I haven't done anything else.
You know we're a paperless company, right?
Which makes it even weirder that I'm somehow signing and stamping it with a pen.
Right, okay. Well, if you can finally get that like and subscription.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Submitted.
I have my apologies put on record, thank you.
Right, thank you. Okay.